Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live. It's Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. I'm here with the Access live stream update for today. And for those of you who are watching on TikTok, boy, the camera I'm using for you is on a very shaky stand. It can go down at any time. If it does, sorry about that. Today we have orchestral choruses and a boys choir. So we have sing, sing, sing going on. If you like choral music and choirs and Christmas music, but not only Christmas music. And we've got a veteran pianist out on the West Coast in the USA in Portland, Oregon, who will be sure to entertain you if choirs singing is not your bag. So let me make sure that our people on Instagram are with us. They are. I can go live on Instagram, so I will have everybody live. And let's get right to it. I only have one photo to show you, and that's the one you can see on screen there, which shows you the St. Petersburg Chamber Chorus, the Intrada Vocal Ensemble, the Dadu Boys Choir, and David Saffert, who is that pianist entertainer I was telling you about. We'll get to him last. First up, coming up in about 2 hours, we have two choral ensembles to choose from, both of them in Russia. You know, the Russians love their children too. If you can't get your head around that, I'm sorry, but it is true. Sting sang about that 40 years ago. And at 5 o'clock this evening, Wednesday, December 17th, Mariinsky Theatre is hosting the St. Petersburg Philharmonic's Chamber Chorus. They'll be singing works by Viktor Kalinnikov, Anton Arensky, and César Cui. And I confess to you, I don't know who these people are, and I haven't had time to look it up for you. I can tell you a little bit about the chorus. The chorus has been around since 1977, and they've become a staple of the St. Petersburg Philharmonic, which is a top orchestra, so they're a top chorus. And they have, when they were formed, they were the first chorus to bring to Russian audiences live things like Schubert's Stabat Mater and Purcell's King Arthur and other works like that. So this is a good choir. They have a repertoire of over 300 different concerts they do, and we don't know any more about what they're singing than those names there, but I can tell you it's a top flight chorus. Now, at the same time, the Moscow Philharmonic is also live streaming a vocal ensemble, and this is the Intrada Vocal Ensemble, and they'll be singing pieces by Palestrina. Every Christmas Eve, we used to sing Palestrina. No, that was Charpentier. The Palestrina Mass is one that we used to sing like for ordinary occasions, like on Sunday mornings or a weekday morning if there was a Mass, when I was in the boys' choir at St. Raymond's Roman Catholic Church in Detroit, Michigan in the 1960s. Okay, anyway, so what about the vocal ensemble Intrada? They've been around not as long as the St. Petersburg chorus. They've been around since about 20 years, since 2006. And they have done a lot of performing in Western Europe, in Dresden, at the Wartburg Castle, for German Radio Cultura, at the International Congress of Choral Conductors in Paris, the Lausitz Festival, London, the Stuttgart Music Festival, and in 2022, they made their debut on the stage of the Berlin Philharmonic. And then the war came. Anyway, they're experienced. Their conductor, Ekaterina Antonenko, she's got a list as long as your arm of engagements, which she has done in Western Europe, studied at the Moscow Conservatory, but also studied at the Hochschule in Leipzig and in Köln, Germany. So she got well-rounded training. Some of the pieces they're doing by Palestrina, if you really know Palestrina, you'll recognize these. If you're like me, you'll say, well, it's Palestrina. Alma Redemptoris Mater, the Missa Papae Marcelli, the Nunc Dimittus Servum Tuum Domino. That's the one, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace, O Lord, which sometimes I say when I'm going to sleep at night. Anyway, and they'll finish up with his Vidi Speciosam Sicut Columbam. I saw her beautiful as a dove. Wow. Okay. That's not so sacred, is it? Okay. So that's what you have at 5 o'clock in the evening, and you'll just have to pick, or you can shift up and back between them like a lot of people do who are doing online surfing. Then next up at 6 o'clock in the evening, European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, Artbene will be live streaming from the Roman Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, the debut choir of boys and young men singing Christmas. Now, the organist, whose name is Ivan Tsarev, you can look him up, he'll be playing quite a bit of organ too. He'll start out playing Louis Viern's Westminster Bells. You know, that's one of the bum, 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 bum. There's a whole organ piece written around that, which is magnificent. It would be worth tuning in just to hear that. And then a couple of movements from the festive suite by Gordon Young, also on the organ. And then you get the choir coming in, and they'll be singing things like Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, Adolph Adams' Oh Holy Night, Oh Holy Night, ba-dee-da-da, you know that one. And then they'll be doing some pieces you may not know. Well, they're doing Albinoni's Adagio, which of course you do know. With the viola added into it, viola and piano. And then they'll be doing some, at least one piece based on a poem or poems by Yevgeny Yevtushenko, who was a big Soviet poet back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And that about wraps it up, unless I give you a list of the whole concert, which I'm not going to do. Okay, so now look, if you say to me, John, I'm not into choirs, I'm not into Palestrina, and I'm not into these other composers whose names I don't even know, these St. Petersburg Chamber Chorus. Well, if you wait at noon out in Portland, Oregon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast and 9 o'clock in the evening here in Europe, the Old Church Lunchtime Concert Series in Portland, Oregon will be featuring the pianist and entertainer David Saffert. And he's a veteran of touring around the country and doing comedy sketches, improv, solo recitals, comedy and variety shows. He has a show he does in which he recreates Liberace, the very popular American pianist, and all of that. So we don't know exactly what he's going to be playing, but I can guarantee you, whatever it is, if any of what I just described sounds interesting to you, he'll be entertaining. So that's what I have for you today, folks. I'm going to let you go. I will post this and we'll spread it around on our other platforms, on all 7 of them. Let me remind you, this is the season in which you can do yourself and your friends a favor. If you have friends and you know they love classical music or opera or ballet, do them a favor and send them a little gift Christmas message. Let them know about Access Arts Live and how they can subscribe or follow Access Arts Live on Facebook or YouTube and get access to thousands of hours of orchestral and chamber works and recitals and opera and ballet all year long. And 85% to 90% of it is free of charge. But if you want to find all that yourself, it would take you hours. I work full time all week long doing the research to find this stuff. So unless you're ready to quit your job, let us do it for you. So I recommend that you follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live and invite your friends to do so as well. We're on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. We're wherever you may be, because we want it to be just easy for you to go on whatever platform you usually hang out on and just move over to our page, see one of my videos or the list, and just click on a live stream link and go and enjoy it.